ऐसी नजर से देखा उस जालिम ने चौक पर हमने कलेजा रख दिया चाकू की नोक पर ऐसी नजर से देखा उस जालिम ने चौक पर हमने कलेजा रख दिया चाकू की नोक पर देखी है सारी दुनिया जापान से लेके रशिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया से लेके अमेरिका देखा है प्यार का सपना दिल चाहे कोई अपना मिल जाएगा एक साथिया परदेसिया अब देसिया नहीं परदेसिया आएगा तिनका जरा जरा है रोशनी से जैसे भरा हर दिल में अरमान होते तो है हर दिल में अरमान होते तो है बस कोई समझे जरा
Let's talk with the doers, the dreamers, believers, achievers, the successful people with their eyes to the sky and their feet on the ground. Jai ho, Jai ho, Jai ho. This is Jai Kumar Show.
Namaste, salam, sat sri akal. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jai Ho, the Jai Kumar Show. I'm your host, Jai Kumar. Now, if you are new here, let me tell you, Jai Ho is an unconventional show created with the purpose of bringing you a dose of motivation and inspiration with a tadka of entertainment. Today is a very special day, as our today's guest is the one जिनकी जय जयकार पिछले 3 दशकों से हो रही है. And I'm one of her biggest fans since my school days. At a time when pop music was still at nascent stage in India, she created history with her hits one after another. Her album gave the Indian music a firm footing in the global music. She is the undisputed queen of Indian pop. She blazed a trail of chartbusters and ignited a pop revolution in the mid-90s. Her pop anthem, Made in India, sold millions worldwide. She won the prestigious Billboard Viewer's Choice Award for Musical Excellence. Even her Bollywood anthem, Kajrare, swept all the awards that year. The pop diva has been a consistent chart topper and hitmaker. She has the charisma and a voice that move mountains. Now, without taking much time, let me invite Queen of Indie Pop and my all-time favorite, Alisha Chinai. Alisha ji, welcome to Jai Ho.
Hi Jay, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. It was too kind. Thank you so much.
So Alisha ji, to start with, when I was doing research on you, I was able to find a lot of information about you, on your songs, on your music, your films. One thing which was missing is what kind of a kid you were. And you were a crush of many teenage boys and many teenage girls inspired to be like you. And so please share with us what kind of a teenager you were, what kind of a kid you were.
Well, my childhood was extremely, we were like very spoiled. I was like uh, always like loved by everyone in the family and very cute little baby. So I was always like everyone's favorite. And I used to sing a lot, even when I was a kid. So I used to take part in school competitions and stuff. And then my dad would always, give me something special if I sang and for the guests or something like that. So I knew that, hey, this is cool. This is going to be good for me. When I grow up, I want to be famous and rich. And singing was my forte, so I thought that this is a good way to start. So my dad was a classical singer. My mom also had a beautiful voice. She used to play on the piano. So I think I inherited my genes from them. And there was music in the house. So I spent a lot of my childhood listening to various kinds of music. I mean, there was classical going on one side, and my mom would listen to Barbara Streisand and, uh, Frank Sinatra and all those. She was crazy about all that Western music. So I had like this whole blend of, Indian and Western, even when I used to sing, which is why I think even when I started pop music, it was quite new. It was like carving a niche for myself and breaking the mold, because in those days there was only playback singing. And this pop music was it was synonymous with something rebellious, and, Indian girls didn't really sing pop music. That was not regarded as serious. But for me, it was an expression, and I wanted to do it. And that's how I kind of hung in there and did what I really wanted. So I think it just progressed from my childhood to then.
Yeah, interesting. So, what was the exact triggering point in your life when you decided that, oh, I want to be singer and singer only, nothing else?
I started with a little modeling and jingles and stuff like that. Initially, I did a little theater, and then I got offered my first recording album with HNV, which is Saregama these days, today. And I did my first album then. And it was just after the whole, euphoria of Disco Divane. So you see, Nazia had come and created this whole, boom for pop music and something different from playback. So I think they wanted an Indian pop singer to fill that void, because she was, not Indian as such. She was from Pakistan. So they wanted an Indian singer, and that's where I came in. And so I did, my first album, Jadoo, and then Alisha, and then Baby Doll, which became quite famous.
Yeah, yeah. When I shared on my social media and with my friends that you will be joining us soon, so everyone sent me some messages like, oh, she's my favorite. Thanks for bringing her. And oh, I have a very special memory with her. As a teenager. Oh, this is what this is. So, what I realized that everyone has some or the other kind of a memory associated with you, with those songs, and when they used to hear Alicia. Even like with me, I was at that time very much influenced by the Western music. So I was listening to all the singers of that era. And so it's like no Hindi music for me, I mean, in those years. But the only two Hindi cassettes which I bought was of Alisha. And I remember one was Alisha, and the second was Baby Doll. So this was even before a Made in India. Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah. And now you see that the youngster of those time, they saw that they no longer need to rely on a Western music to kind of the modern music they want, and they have that same kind of a music in their own language.
Yes. वो अपनापन लगता है, that there is that affinity that, oh, she's Indian and she's part of us and she's doing pop music, and it's a great way of expressing yourself, because it was the voice of the youth, really, which wanted that expression at the time. And Indian girls were brought up traditionally, so I was a bit a bit of out of the box kind of person, a bit of an oddball, always very different, always broke the norm, very rebellious, even as a kid. So I guess, people kind of were secretly, vicariously living their dreams through me, which was good. I'm glad that, I was instrumental in inspiring them.
So yeah, even the younger kids here, the NRI community, they know the song pretty well, the Made in India song. They may or may not be knowing the singer, but the song, they really know it by heart. So when I mentioned that Alisha is coming at our show, so one of my close friend, she sent me the performance of Made in India by her daughter, which was performed very recently on the 15th August 2021. So the kids from this generation, the younger kids, they also know the song pretty well. So it's like after national anthem, they have to do another anthem made in India.
It is an anthem. It's a pop anthem. Of course it is.
So when I was explaining to them who is Alisha, so one of the things I told them that Alisha is actually Taylor Swift of our time.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. So, and Alisha ji, if I'm not wrong, I think you are the only one who had that level of success, huge success in film music as well as in solo and private albums. So, yeah. And so my question is, for sure what you enjoy more, the private albums or the film music. And the other is, what do you think, what was the unique quality you had that you only succeeded in both kind of music?
Yeah. Well, I think I have that je ne sais quoi charisma, even if I have to say it myself. You have to have a unique selling point. And I was, as I said, very, very different. I don't do normal. I mean, as you can see, I'm not really like every normal young Indian girl. And so I think that's what set me apart. More than anything, the bottom line is my voice. My voice was unique. And that was like the attention sort of thing that gave me the attention. Like, wow, what a voice, On the microphone, my voice was like magic. I sang beautifully. I was very quick at whatever, picking up a song or whatever. And then I created all these, dance tracks even in those days. And that's what carved a niche for myself and made a name there. And I suppose that is the secret of my success. And then I sort of, give these little breaks in between, even to myself, because you got to leave the audiences a little hungry. You know what I mean? So they always want more. That's why I tend to disappear. Whenever I get burnt out, I disappear and then I come back, and then it's all fresh again, and I think every decade I've given like a big hit. So I've consistently been like a hit maker, or a lot of my film songs have been like chart busters, So I guess I'm just gifted and thank God for that. I'm so grateful. Really. I am grateful that I have this beautiful voice, and it's such a gift.
Yeah, and even your listeners are very thankful to God that they got the chance to listen such a beautiful voice.
Yeah, as they say, Khuda ki barkat hai, it's really a barkat and it's a blessing, to have this voice. I'm not a great singer, but I have a good voice.
Yeah, so did you train your voice? Like you had any guru to have this kind of a special voice? You did some kind of a practice training?
Honestly, no, I didn't really train. Dad used to, of course, make me do a little sargam or, palta or something like that. I had a classical teacher for a very short span, like 6 months. But it didn't really work for me because, my voice is totally raw and untrained, and the natural quality gives it that, beauty, I think. So if I was really trained, it would have been quite different. In fact, I remember when I did the theatre production for Evita, and I did the song, and there was this little section in the song where I had to sing something like that, and crack my voice a little bit. Another suitcase and another home, and I don't expect my love affairs. It's just and even Furkat loves that. The crack in my voice. He says, I love the crack in your voice. So I think, that feeling, that emotion, it's something.
So Alisha ji, coming back to the anthem again, Made in India. Please share the story of
Yes.
Made in India, how you came up with that song. I know you have explained this on multiple platforms, but it will be really very good for my audience to know directly from you. And then I have a follow-up questions which I'll ask you after you brief us on this.
Sure. Well, it all started out, I was, signed to Magna Sound at the time. And they said, look, I did an album called Bombay Girl, and that did really well. And then as a follow-up, they asked me whether I'd like to do a project with Biddu in London. And I was like, yeah, sure. I'd love to, because, in India, there was a dearth really of pop producers, people who really understood pop. It just didn't have the edge. And working with Biddu, who was internationally so famous, and he'd done, artists like Tina Charles and Kung Fu fighting and stuff, I was really thrilled. And of course, Disco Divane. So I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity. And, it's like a gut feeling you have that this is really going to be something special. So I was really excited. And then, of course, he sent, the songs over, and then I penned most of the lyrics because Biddu doesn't speak Hindi. Yeah. And so I went to London and I recorded, the songs, and just in 1 week we were done. Really fast. And it, before you know it, but you have that gut feeling, this is going to be something special. It was so different. And, the way the voices were recorded and the emulation of my voice on Made in India, I gave it a lot of Noor Jahan kind of harkats and emulation, because she is my idol. I really love her voice and the way she sings. And so it sounded different. It sounded wow. So it had the wow factor. From the beginning, I could feel it, but then you can never predict a hit. It just becomes a hit, and then suddenly and then when we released it, MTV just had come to India, well, a little prior to that. So it was the first time that, an artist got visually seen. They'd heard my voice with Baby Doll and Jadoo and so many Bollywood songs. The first time that I did a video and they could actually see Alisha. And so that also, really everything together, the right timing. India's morale was very down at the time also, because world over, everything Indian was not really cool. So, this Made in India made all the Indians very proud. They felt good about themselves. It was uplifting for them at that time. So it suddenly just became a complete cult and, an anthem overnight. It was boom. I had arrived.
Yeah. And the video took it to the next level.
Yes, it did. Yes.
Yeah, and I heard that your preference was that Milind Soman should play the lead as a male model of that song.
Yes, I mean, Ken suggested a few models, but I said in this particular video, Milind would suit the part because he has a nice bone structure, the height and everything. He really fitted the part. So I said, he was the best male model around that time. So let's just take the best, and of course it was a good thing because he was so much eye candy that a lot of people put that last shot on repeat.
Exactly, yeah. And
where he comes
every
out of the
piece of
box.
that song, the video was so perfect. It was like a pure magic
Yeah,
that
that's
everything
true.
is falling, in place.
Everything was perfect. It just was magical.
So
Just like
let's say if Made in India आज बनता है,
yeah.
आपको क्या लगता है who should play the male lead for Made in India?
Now today, how about just choosing a foreigner? ये है ना मेरा हीरो.
Yeah, yeah. Introducing
कोई नहीं देती.
Furkat, Furkat.
Yes, have you met Mr. Furkan Azamov? He's not only the producer of my album for the new project that we're doing a collaboration on.
Yeah, welcome Furkat. So, Furkat, Alisha was just mentioning about the new album, and she told me that Furkat is new producer of that album.
We have been working for the last 1 year on a new album, and we are also doing, if she has mentioned, we are also doing Made in India too.
Yes, that's big news. We're doing a sequel
Really?
to Made in India.
Yay, Made in India too. And Furkat, so Alisha was, just like when I asked her who is going to play the lead role of a male model in that Made in India, that's a 2 song, and she said her hero Furkat.
Yeah, I'm all for that now.
Look at him. Not modest at all, huh? Yeah.
I'm really shying person and really bad acting. I
But
can
do you
sing
think
it.
you can carry me, Furkat? Do you think you can carry me the way Milan Soman carried me? Or you think
That's-
I'm too heavy now?
Come. No, that's the big question. But I'm just, I will handle it, don't worry.
Okay.
So Made in India 2 is now ready to release, or what is the current situation?
I think just a little before Republic Day.
And so when are you planning to release it?
Yeah, around then.
So that is like January
Yes.
2022.
Of course. Yeah, maybe around Christmas. Whatever, we'll see. You can't time it. It just happens when it happens. But yeah, that's the plan. Because with this coronavirus thing, everything is so unpredictable.
True. And so much delay on all the projects because of this pandemic. Yeah. So Alisha ji, I think this is the perfect time in terms of अगर आप Made in India version 1 गा दें हमारे audience के लिए.
कौन सा? To sing it? Can I? Okay. देखी है सारी दुनिया, जापान से लेके रशिया, ऑस्ट्रेलिया से लेके अमेरिका, देखा है प्यार का सपना, दिल चाहे कोई अपना, मिल जाएगा एक साथिया परदेसिया. अब देसिया नहीं परदेसिया आएगा.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be a big. Alisha said Pardesia. This time it's not Desia,
Oh, thank
it's
you.
Pardesia. This is
Yeah.
going to be a big news. Yeah, so Alisha ji, moving to one of your other hit, Kajrare. Yeah. So I heard a lot of stories about that as well. That how you reinvented Qawwali through Kajrare.
Well, yes. It was all teamwork, you know. I mean, Shankar, Ehsan, Lloyd, you know, called me for the song. It was really their creation, the song, their concept and everything. And it was going to be picturized as an item on Aishwarya. So I think there were so many like wow factors. And of course, then came the song, and then I was like, oh my God, Qawwali, where do I fit in? But they wanted the twist. They wanted an unpredictable singer to sing the song, you know, in a stylized manner, like I did. And it just seemed like a perfect marriage on screen. It almost looked like Aishwarya was singing it. So it was just magic, yeah. The chemistry was perfect.
Yeah, and I heard that when you went for the recording of Kajrare, you know, the lead cast, Abhishek Bachchan, Amitabh, and you know, they were all present there to see the recording of this song.
Yes, yes. They were, but Aishwarya wasn't there because they were still like, you know, probably thinking. But after hearing, I think the song, I mean, maybe she didn't agree, but then she agreed to it later on. They were not sure whether she would do it, but oh my God, that song really did it for everyone. It became a you know, Bollywood anthem, so it still is.
Yeah, I know it's a tough one to ask, but how about having a Kajrare for our audience?
It's you can't really sing it without, you know, the tabla, and it sounds so flat, but I'll just sing the alap for you, which is the most angelic part. Is when it comes on, it's like ऐसी नजर से देखा उस जालिम ने चौक पर हमने कलेजा रख दिया चाकू की नोक पर ऐसी नजर से देखा उस जालिम ने चौक पर हमने कलेजा रख दिया चाकू की नोक पर बवाल हो गया Sorry. That requires a bit of
Yay! Wow. Oh, it's so beautiful. So Alisha, just shifting the gears a little bit. Now, with so much of success in your life, you know, the past success you had with each and every hit, I don't know any song which is not a hit, which is sung by you and it's not a hit. So, you know, my question is, how you stay hungry?
You know, I'm again very grateful that I can afford to stay out of the limelight, come back when I choose. I can afford all those disappearances, and I like it that way. You know, I like to do it my way. You know, and I'm always hungry for a good song. If I hear a good song, it's like that's it. It inspires me, and I want to do it. And then if you're, you know, in that whole phase where, you know, nothing is really working well and you're really feeling burnt out, then you just go off, switch off for a while. And then when you come back, and then you come back with a hit, and it's like, oh my God. No, there are a few bummers, but it's okay. That's fine. I mean, I've sung so many Bollywood songs, and a lot of times, you know, they play me a song and I'm like, is that my song? I'm like, oh my God, I can't remember when I sang that.
Yeah. And do you know how many songs you have done actually?
No, I really don't know, but
maybe a few thousands.
Yeah.
I was trying to find that information on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I didn't find anything on that.
But you only, remember all the hits, so which is fine.
So do you still think that you need to achieve something, or you have to, accomplish something? You said you are, you stay hungry for good songs.
That's what I'm saying. I'm still so curious. Sometimes I feel like a beginner. I want to learn everything all over again. There's so many new things coming out, and there are so many new artists, so many different genres of music, and like really artists who really blow your mind these days. Really amazing. And yeah, sure, I'd like to touch it. I mean, I just nowadays, there is. I mean, youth has no age, as they say. So, I mean, they always say, oh, pop singers have a limitation, but I don't agree with that. I'm going to break that myth too.
So, Alisha ji, one question, and this is not to please you, but if you see, when you compare India and West side, West keep on producing the female pop singers very regularly. So if you see, in your time in 90's, there were Madonna, some other singers were very famous, and then Shakira, Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga. So many names keeps on coming after every few years. But in India, after 90's, Alisha started this trend, and then there is no other name I can remember which has created this level of success. Some singers came, but they never achieved the success you had. What are the key reasons? Why you think this happened, that India is not able to produce that level of success for the female pop singers?
And it's still going to be Alisha all these years again too. It's just Alisha, and Alisha. No, I think it's, there is no scope for any growth, which is really sad. There are lots of talented kids out there. It's just, they're just waiting to come into their own. What happens is, because of the whole Bollywood scenario, the music industry relegates the playback singers to the behind the scenes. And, Indians, unfortunately, are very obsessed with fair skin and beauty, and they want a beautiful face. They want the fixed formula, Gana gaegi, ye dance karegi, ye sundar aisi lagni chahiye. She has to dance and look beautiful. So they want like an absolute, 10 on 10. It doesn't work like that. I mean, there are artists who, beauty is from within, it's how they sing, how they feel it. And this is what I think was the setback. But nowadays you've got like multi-talented kids out there who look gorgeous, who can sing beautifully, who can dance, and they have the whole package. And I think, they're just waiting to come onto the scene, really. It's just a matter of time, because a lot of it is phasing out. They're getting exposed to, the Western way of music, which is where the singer is the star. In fact, a pop star is much bigger in the West than an actress, if you really see, unlike in India. And the music industry, unfortunately, does have a little bit of controlling mafia, which kind of, sort of swats them down, and, undervalue them. And, that some of them are so, underrated, which is really sad, like I said. But it's not about, playback singers, I think, get sort of, how would I say, it comes down to just being like a session singer. You just go in, film ka situation hai, go in and sing the song, and that's it. You perform it. That's what happens. An artist, a real artist, has to come with her expression. It's a freedom of expression through your music. You say something about yourself. It's a reflection, So a lot of them are shy. But like I said, now the girls are really, really modern, and they want to be rebellious and come out with their own music. And it's not just about singing a song. You need, again, somebody who can write songs, who can do a lot more songwriting, singer, performing, everything. And there are. Like I said, it's just waiting to come and take over the scene. But yeah, there was no scope before for that growth. But now with the exposure and the ethics are changing. It's evolving, and I think there will be a better time.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the youngster today have much more opportunities. They
Yeah.
have so much of technology to support them. The social media to support them.
Yes. And so even I'm going to reinvent myself and go back 20 years and come back as Alisha.
Yeah, and they have a tough competition now.
Yeah, Alisha will compete with Alisha.
So yeah, youngsters have so much of opportunities also on TV because of the TV platforms like Indian Idol and all. They come to perform, but unfortunately, they're not able to stay that long.
Yeah, they get their 15 minutes of fame and then they're lost. That's what I'm saying. The staying power, the attention power of people has just diminished. You gotta say what you have. You gotta really cut across to be that level. The standards are so much higher, so they've raised the standards. So if you're not in that league, you cannot stay. So you've got to have.
Yeah, even the winners of those shows have not, I think, survived much longer, except very few names. You can count on fingers those names. Do you think the quality of those winners is of not that league?
Said they were offered the platform, but this can only take them that far. Then they're on their own. So what they make of their success is up to them.
Yeah, you mentioned about the music mafia and all, and I know that some of my even friends in the industry, the singers, the musicians, they have created their own labels and they're producing the songs, recording the videos, and releasing it on their own platforms.
Yeah.
All those songs. Do you think that this will help in breaking the music mafia?
Absolutely. And also the fact that coronavirus has come and that virus has really shattered everything. It's just broken all the myths about everything. I mean, as I said, my latest mantra is uncertainty is the new certainty. You just have to keep on mutating, keep on changing, keep on adapting, and this is what's happened. I mean, now Netflix is all over. I mean, people can't really go to cinema halls to watch Bollywood movies. So that has taken a bit of a bashing, which is where, artists are coming to the limelight. And, individual artists are flourishing and people want to listen to that, to the real artist, which is a good thing. So maybe the time is coming again.
So this means there will be no music mafia in the future?
No labels anymore. You make your own label. Yeah.
Yeah, well said. And talking about the youngsters and taking risk, I think one of the unique thing about you was that you were always a bit ahead of time.
Yeah.
And you took a lot of risk in having the songs which were breaking the norms, breaking the rules. I still remember one of the song A for Adults Only, which was one of my favorite at that time. And also Baby Baby, which was changed, which was banned and changed to different lyrics or so. So there were so many songs you did where people were not expecting those kind of songs, and you came and you broke those norms of the society and of the these songs, very modern and everything. So what was your process of selecting these songs? what was going through your mind that you have chosen a particular song?
As when you're young, you want to do something that's a little risky and also a little shocking. You know how it is. It's like trying to get a little attention. Of course you want to, so I think I was pretty cheeky. I was very cheeky. And then of course I got Sexy Sexy, which was a big Bollywood chart buster in those days, and it created a complete controversy and such a big stir, So it was like good in a way. It was so cute. It was so innocent. But people just kind of, some people got offended. People, I suppose, who don't have a sense of humor got offended. But there was nothing at all, which was offensive in the song. It was beautiful. And Karishma looked lovely.
नीली नीली आंखें मेरी मैं क्या करूं, गोरे गोरे गाल मेरे मैं क्या करूं, होंठ मेरे लाल लाल मैं क्या करूं, काले काले बाल मेरे मैं क्या करूं, चेहरा मैं ले जाऊं कहां, हुस्न को छुपाऊं कहां, रोमियो हजार आगे पीछे.
Well said, Alisha ji, well said. And okay. Now we know how you select your songs. Ladies and gentlemen, and my dear friends, I hope you're enjoying this conversation. 40 minutes or 45 minutes or even a lifetime is not enough to learn from a legend like Alisha. So what we will do, we will continue our conversation with Alisha ji in the part 2 of this episode. And Furkat is also going to join us in the part 2. So we will ask some questions to Alisha ji as well as to Furkat. And one of my key questions, follow-up question is what does she think if she is a born singer or she is a trained singer, and what does she think about Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours theory? If you don't know that, then do Google it, and we will talk about it more in our next episode or part 2 of this episode. And do check if you have subscribed this channel or not. If you have not done it, then please do it. Please like the video if you like the video. और हमें ये भी बताइए कि आपको कौन सा गाना अलीशा जी का पसंद है. हो सकता है कि अलीशा जी वो गाना गा दें पार्ट 2 इस एपिसोड के में. सो कमेंट सेक्शन में लिखिए अपना फेवरेट गाना और लिखिए कि आपको कैसा लगा ये पार्ट इस एपिसोड का. टिल देन स्टे ट्यून्ड एंड कोई ना कोई ऐसा काम करते रहे जिससे आपकी भी जय जयकार हो. जय हो.
जय हो जय हो जय हो. This is Jay Kumar Show.
तेरा होने लगा हूँ, खोने लगा हूँ, जब से मिला